Alright guys, welcome to this next video on the Desmos Scientific Calculator. In this video, we're going to practice with some problems using Factorial and using combinatorics, which is nPr and nCr. We're going to see how Desmos can do these things for us. So the first question I have here is just 12 factorial. So I'll type 12 factorial, right? I can type it on my keyboard, or the factorial button lives right here if I need it, right? So I could type 12 in that button. Either way, you get the same answer, right? So Desmos can do factorials for me automatically, which is great. This next one is a fraction with factorials, and it might look kind of familiar because it's one of our combinatorics equations, right? It's the equation for nCr, but we won't worry about that right now. We'll just practice typing it in. Right, so I like to start with my fraction line when I have a fraction, and I'll say 15 factorial on top. On bottom I have 10 factorial times 5 factorial. And I can see Desmos gives me the answer real nice, 3003. Right, it can do these types of questions for me. This next question is a word problem. There were 6 contestants in a competition. They are only giving out first, second, and third place. How many possible outcomes are there? Right, so I might think, right, this is definitely a combinations problem. They say how many possible outcomes. There's no repeats, right? Nobody's going to get first and second. And the order does matter, right? Getting first is different than getting second, and getting second is different than getting third. So this is an nPr formula, or an nPr problem, right? And this is nPr with 6 and 3. 6 nPr3 is what I might say. So to do this in Desmos, maybe I remember my nPr formula, and I can just type in my nPr formula. So I remember that I have 6 on top, and on bottom I have 6 minus 3 factorial. And I see that there's 120 different ways this could go. Right, I have a follow-up question here. What if there were 800 contestants? Right, so I can redo the problem, but I'm going to run into an issue when I do this. I'll say 800 factorial divided by 800 minus 3 factorial, right? I'm following my nPr formula again, and I get undefined. And I can actually show you guys that if I just do 800 factorial, that is too huge of a number for Desmos. It cannot show me that. So am I out of luck? Well, I'm not out of luck. If I go over to the function menu here, Desmos actually has an nPr button. And this is able to do problems that Desmos can't do when you type in the whole formula, right? So here, right, when I use this nPr button, first I put my N, and then I put a comma, and I put my R. So my N is how many people I have. I have 800 people, and I'm picking 3 of them, right, for first, second, and third place. And I can see that this time Desmos actually does give me the answer. And I could have done the same thing when we just had 6 people. If I did nPr 6 and 3, I get the same answer without having to use my formula. And in fact, in this version of the problem, I couldn't use my formula. It was impossible to do on this calculator with the formula. But using the nPr button, it actually is possible. Right, I have another question here. 180 students each have 1 ticket in a raffle. 3 winners will be chosen to receive a $50 gift card. How many possible outcomes are there? So first of all, there are no repeats in this problem, right? Because they each have 1 ticket. Nobody's going to get chosen twice. And right, the order that they're chosen doesn't matter because everyone gets a $50 gift card. So I don't really care if I'm chosen first or third, right? It's the same to me. So that's a really good indicator to me that this is an nCr formula. If I try to type in, though, to my nCr formula, which is 180 up top, times 3 factorial, because I'm picking 3, times 180 minus 3 factorial. I get undefined again, right? And I can check 180 factorial is also, it's too big for Desmos, right? I can't do this problem with the formula even if I wanted. Lucky for me, however, Desmos has an nCr button. And first I put my N, the number of people I have, which is 180, and then I put a comma, and I put the number of things I'm choosing. So again, in this one, I just so happen to be choosing 3 winners again. So I'll put a 3. And I'll see, Desmos can spit out the answer. Right, this answer really is equal to this, but Desmos can't do the 180 factorial. So we're stuck unless we use the nCr key. So that's really great about Desmos. A lot of other calculators, they don't have an nCr key, but they do have a factorial key, but they won't be able to help you with this type of problem. Even though I might have this in my math class, I can use the Desmos nCr buttons and do this math with big numbers.